Hey guys, it's Ginger. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, me and Jen from Nails by Jen are going to be talking about 5 hot topics in the nail industry. So Jen invited me along to do this video with her and I said yes. If you guys haven't subscribed to Jen, please go do so. She is amazing, such an inspiration, and such a talented nail tech. So her channel will be linked below. And we met over Zoom and did like a little Zoom call and just talked about 5 hot topics in the nail industry. So I hope you guys enjoy.
All right, guys, so Ginger has joined us. Hi, Ginge.
Hi, everyone.
All the way from the U.S., Virginia, West Virginia. I was just asking you this last night. So Ginger is 2 hours ahead of me. So what time is it my time? It is 7 a.m.
And it is 9 here.
Yes, Ginger has moved one of her clients for me. So thank you, just so she could join us today. So I'm really excited to get into these hot topics. So let's just dive into the first one. So I was just telling Ginger what I'm going to do is like say what it is, and then I'm just going to kind of go over or describe what I mean for anybody who's watching that doesn't know what we're talking about, because maybe they're not nail techs. So the first question I have, Miss Ginge, is do you work over other nail techs' work? So what I mean by this, Ginger knows what I mean, but for other people, if say someone books a fill with you or an appointment and they say that they have, existing nails on from another salon, do you have them remove them before they come to you, or will you do a fill over existing work? What about you, Miss Ginge?
Well, personally, I don't run into this issue because I've been fully booked now for over 2 years. So, but when I did first start working out, I did run into this issue, and generally I would soak off for them. I wouldn't put anything over top of it just because I don't want that client to become a client of mine and have like an issue where the nail may have been lifted and I filled over it and they get like a greenie or something. And then, that comes back on me. So I would offer a soak off service for them first and then put my stuff on.
I think for most nail techs, that is what I see most people do. Even in, you'll see it in their pricing, must come with no nails, or they do offer a soak off service. So I'm one of the odd ones who will fill over other people's work. So basically how I kind of structure it, or how I do it, is if a client messages me and wants to get a fill, I usually will ask them if they don't mind sharing where they got them done.
Okay.
And one reason is because we all know what chop shops are. So if they've gotten them done at a chop shop, I just sometimes, I have a little better understanding of what possibly could be coming in my salon. And I usually ask them to send me a photo as well. It's hard to see, obviously, if they have full nail coverage, right? If they've got like all pink nails, you can't see what's under the color. So, but I still like to just see what I'm working with. And because I only book my appointments for an hour and a half, I don't even have time to offer a soak off option. So I just let them know when I start filing, or when they sit down in the chair. I always say to them, because these nails were not done by me, when I start filing, we're going to kind of see if this is going to be a full set or not. If it's like lots of lifting and basically I'm taking the whole freaking nail off anyway because they're just hanging on, it's a full set. If I see any, issues, I have only one time had someone come in and their nails were like nothing I've ever seen. She had onycholysis so bad. I might even have pictures still because I know I documented it because I wanted to document how we were healing her nails. She had onycholysis really bad. She definitely had fungus on one, which freaked me out. And I did send her to the doctor after, but I mean, I was filing her nails, right? I was halfway through filing her nails. I couldn't just stop and be like, you need to leave.
Get out.
I think that's probably the main reason that most people will say you need to come in with nothing on, because they don't want to run into issues like that. Thankfully,
and you kind of want to see what you're working with as far as their nail beds go, what kind of condition and health that their nails are in.
Absolutely.
So, like for me, I offer acrylic, gel X. I offer a range of products
Yeah.
because I find that not everything works on everyone. So I like to be versatile in that way to be able to offer something different for everybody. So
Yeah.
you really need to see what kind of condition they're, because maybe their nails aren't in good enough condition to hold like a gel X nail. I've
Right.
run
Yes.
into that before. So
Okay.
like you
Yeah.
have to put acrylic on them.
Very, very true. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, if I had the time to implement that into my salon, I definitely think that I would. But just the way that I run my studio, I do 6 people a day. I'm already, 10 hours a day. I don't want to have to possibly add another. And I just can't. The way that my schedule is structured, I don't
Right.
have the time to just. I always only have hour and a half slots. So I think that your way is definitely, safer in the sense of like running into issues, it's easier for you guys. Or like you said, if you can even offer the removal yourself.
Right. Or maybe if you're a newer nail tech and you're not sure like what your timing is going to be, offer new clients a consultation appointment, spend 15 minutes with them, see what their kind of needs are going to be, and then decide, okay, you're going to have to remove this or,
Yeah,
and just
that's
kind of see
great.
what you're
That's a
working
great
with.
idea. Yeah. And now with Zoom, I mean, really, you could do the consultation.
Exactly. You don't even have to have them come into your shop or your studio
Right.
or anything. You can just be like, hey, show me your nails.
Right, exactly, exactly. So, yeah, so I'm kind of one of the weird ones who doesn't do that, but seems to be everybody else does. All right, so that was a good question. Now, number 2, what does it say? Let me grab my paper. Cancellation policy. Okay, so what is your cancellation policy length? And do you apply your policies to yourself? So I'll start with this one. So my cancellation policy is only 4 hours. You have 4 hours to cancel, which is very minimum. And I have a 15-minute late cancellation policy. If you're more than 15 minutes late, or 15 minutes or more, I should say, you have to reschedule. I refuse to make my other clients 15 minutes late. 15 minutes I can make it work. You just may not get what kind of nail art you want, but you'll get your nails done. And the reason that I have a 4-hour cancellation policy is because I find, I'm an empath, so, I'm a sucker for feelings and people. So if I had a 24-hour cancellation policy and someone texts me at hour 15 and said, oh my gosh, Jen, I'm feeling sick, or I'm like crapping my guts out on the toilet, I can't come, right? Like, it would be hard for me to be like, well, girl, you should have known 24 hours ago,
Right.
we're going to be pooping, right? Like I can't, right? Like that, it would be really hard for me, I feel, to implement a policy that was more than 4 hours. I feel like with 4 hours, if you're going to be pooping, if you're going to be sick, if your babysitter canceled, 4 hours is really lenient. So I find I'm just able to implement it without feeling bad more because it's only 4 hours. And in regards to if the policy, applies to myself as well, I do apply it to myself. So if I cancel a client, so my policy is, if you book for a fill, it's a $50 policy. It's basically the minimum fee I would charge you for a set of nails. And the full set cancellation policy, I just changed my prices. So I think it's $65 now is the minimum. So I do the same for myself. If somebody had a full set booked, and I canceled within 4 hours, I would literally give them $65 off of their full set price or $50 off of their fill. Because I just feel like it's really important, in the nail industry, we've all, gotten a little bit like tougher with like our worth and, that kind of thing. And, you're going to respect my policies and my rules because you need to value me and I need to know that you value me, but I also feel like my clients need to know that they're valued as well. So
I love that.
Yeah. And I actually put a poll, I think on my Instagram story maybe it was 2 years ago or last year, asking, if anybody does that. And it was so minimum. And I had a lot of people in my DMs saying, I've never thought of that before. I've never thought that I should also be accountable for that, right? So yeah, so I'm curious what your policy is and how do you apply it to yourself as well?
Well, when I first started out, I was a very, very insecure nail tech. I honestly did not value my worth at all. And I let people walk all over me. And I think people starting out in the industry really need to think about what their policies are going to be and implement that from the very start. I did not learn from my mistake. And I went through a lot of clients where I've had to have that hard conversation like, look, me and you, we're just not going to work out, darling, because you cannot show up for your appointments. And I've always been a type of person, like, I've never missed an appointment. I've never canceled a doctor's appointment, anything like that. It's like very important for me to be accountable for anything that, you know. So I never even thought, honestly, about implementing the policy towards myself. Like you said, like a lot of people's like, wow, I didn't, think about doing that for me too. But I think you absolutely should. Right now, like I said, I've been fully booked for over 2 years. I have a girl rate clientele and we have a very good relationship, all of us, between them and myself. Where if something comes up, they message me and I'm like, it's no big deal. So currently I really don't have any kind of policy to where they have to be accountable for any kind of like payment. But I've weeded through all the bad clients already. So I've already, been like, okay, you've got to go. I've got better clients. I've got clients waiting. I've got a waiting list, like that. So, I mean, my clients are really, really good about showing up and they're also really good about letting me know if something comes up. So,
yeah. And I remember talking to, a nail tech as well. And she said the reason that she doesn't have a policy is because she had a child, who was quite sick. And so she had to cancel on her clients often, for hospital, situations, doctor situations, or just the kid was just sick and, she had to take care of the kid. I think it was a little girl. I can't remember. It was quite a long time ago that we were speaking about this. And so because she knew that maybe she wasn't able to show up all the time for her clients, she was very lenient on them. And like, I think that works. I'm a person who just really believes in trying to be fair, right? So
right.
That's fair, right? And in your situation, like you said, you probably don't cancel on your clients very often, and your clients are so good they don't cancel on you either.
Right.
So with me, I unfortunately have had to implement it quite a few times. In situations where the client doesn't just offer it. I have had most of my situations. I mean, I had a lady literally get into a car accident on the way here. She was like, I'm not going to make it. Just got into a car accident. Like, she wasn't even far from my house, but on a main road. And she's like, I'll send you the fee. And I was like, no,
yeah.
Like, I just hope you're okay. When you get your stuff sorted, let me know. We'll get you in, kind of thing. But the fact that she just respected me enough and knows that like this is my only income, and I think that makes a huge difference too. Switching gears here, that like I'm alone. It's just me. I am the only one running this house and paying all of the bills. I have no backup. So I know my girlfriends, she as well didn't have a cancellation policy, but she didn't really care if people canceled because it literally was just extra money for her. So like if she had 3 people booked and 2 of them canceled and she only had to do one, she was kind of like, cool, whatever, because she has a husband who contributes and makes, very good amount of money. And this was literally just her like shopping cash. So, it's very situational, I think.
Right. It's one of those things that just depends on the nail tech, their situation. But I really do think that if you are new in this industry, you're just starting out, go ahead and think about that. Think about, hey, is this extra cash for me or is this my livelihood? And if you need to, like, you think, okay, because trust me, everybody, you are going to have clients who will walk all over you. And you're going to have clients that will become your best friends, the most amazing people on the planet. But you've got to weed out those people. And if you have a cancellation policy in place to start with, that's going to help you not have to have those hard conversations and
Right.
be like, look, you're like screwing me over here. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So just go ahead and think about what you want your policies to be. And from day one, just do them.
I agree. I also didn't have a policy in the very beginning. Like, we're not taught those things in, the traditional nail tech school. They don't teach
Right.
you really a lot about business. I don't know what the courses are like now. I mean, I took my course nearly 14 years ago. There wasn't social media stuff back then, so that was not a part of it. There was nothing about policies or anything like that. So yeah, it's just through experience and talking to other nail techs, because I too used to just get walked all over. It was like, and it was so
being
funny.
such a kind-hearted person, you just kind of let them do it, and it's
Right.
hard to buck up and say, hey, you're not going to do this to me.
Right.
So,
And I also felt like I didn't know what I had a right, quote unquote, what I had a right to do as a small business running it out of my home. What was my right? Like, did I have a right, like a doctor's office, to charge a fee? I didn't know. Right. Yeah. So definitely I agree with you 100%. Just figure out what kind of a policy you want to have, because like, again, if this is your main income and 3 people cancel in a day, that's a lot of money for me if they cancel last minute and I can't even fill the spot at all. And I found it really, really funny, because prior to having a cancellation policy, it was like, well, I didn't know. And, I just, hey, like, I would message and be like, hey girl, like, are you coming for your appointment? And be like, oh my God, I totally forgot. Like, as if it was just unavoidable. It's like, it was always seemed so unavoidable. And then I'd be like, okay, girl, like, no problem. Right. So I found it really funny that the minute I implemented a policy, how not unavoidable it was for them to cancel, how all of a sudden they could cancel, how all of a sudden they could remember, or you know what I mean? It's like, when you got to pay for your mistake, you're not going to make the mistake as much. So I definitely agree with you. Yeah, for people starting out, 100% Ginger's on spot with that. So anything else to add to that one?
Just stick to your guns. Just implement it, and don't be like, oh, I totally understand. Be like, these are the policies. You knew them beforehand. It is what it is. And if they decide not to come back to you, trust me, you are going to have plenty of clientele. I know that's a big concern for people, is like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get enough clients to make money. I promise you, there's no shortage of girls out there who want to get their nails done. They just do. And you'll get there. So
that's right. And kind of piggybacking off of what you just said about, the client, you knew the policy when you started. I actually use a website called Jotform. I will link it below for you guys as well. And when COVID came in, because I used to just do kind of pen and paper sort of stuff, right? And when I first started, I had client files in like on recipe cards in like a recipe box. And I don't know, it was a couple of years in, I spilled acetone on the box, and, it got all wrecked and the ruined. The papers were all, melted, the pen, ink and whatever. And I just threw it out because I had my regulars forever. And I was like, whatever. But then, when COVID happened and everybody was implementing these COVID forms to sign, right? Somebody told me about Jotform, and you can create your own forms. And on there, I actually created like a whole client form too. And in that client form, the policy is stated and they have to sign that form. So I recently had an incident where somebody canceled like literally 2 minutes before their 8 a.m. appointment. And she said she had an emergency, and I said, okay, no problem. But there's a $50 fee, whatever. And she kind of got upset. Now, the situation that she was going through, basically she said, well, someone's dying, and I was like, well, I didn't know that. All you said was an emergency. And she said to me, I thought that saying it was an emergency would be good enough. And I was trying not to have the conversation via text, because I knew obviously she was emotional and it's hard to explain things. So I said, I'll explain to you when you come, for your next appointment. And so she had already sent me the fee. She was, I think, not happy about it, but she had already sent me the fee. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I knew someone was dying, if I knew she got a phone call, hey, your aunt or your cousin is dying and you need to go to the hospital, I wouldn't have charged her the fee, right?
Yeah.
But to just say it's an emergency, I mean, somebody could think they slept in was an emergency or their babysitter canceled was an emergency. That's
Right.
not necessarily, and I understand privacy, in her mind, she's thinking it's none of your business. But for me to give you leniency on a policy, I kind of have to make that decision. And so I
Mhm.
had said to her, because the way that the text came through it, I thought she was referring that she didn't know there was a policy. So I just screenshotted it and said, here's your signature. You did know. And so everything's fine. She came for her appointment. We talked about it, and I actually gave her the $50 off that day instead of charging her the full price because she had already sent me the fee. So there are definitely times when you take things into consideration, and it even says that on my policy. But you don't want people to take advantage of you, like Ginger said. So you do have to implement it. You can't always have a soft heart for every single situation because people will walk all over you. Yeah. So, okay. So number 3, this one is very new to me, and Ginger was just talking about it because we were chatting just here in the beginning while we were getting set up. I have recently found out that we are supposed to be wiping no wipe top coat. So my question is to Ginger and everyone watching, have you ever wiped your no wipe top coat?
That is so, like, when I first read the list of questions, I'm like, what is she talking about?
Right.
I've never heard of that before. But I mean, the way you were talking about it's very interesting,
Mhm.
and I'd love to research more on it. But I mean, it says no wipe. You think don't wipe it, right? But I
Exactly.
guess I guess I do sometimes wipe the no wipe top coat when I finish a nail set and I do their cuticle oil and everything. I always wipe the nail off before I take the picture because that oil looks all
Yeah.
blech on it.
Yeah.
So I always end up wiping it, but
I always say to my girls, sorry to cut you off, but I always say to my girls, we're going to wipe the oil a little because you look like you got greasy chicken fingers.
yeah, I hate that. Like I just like there's pictures I see of nails
Yeah,
and they make me cringe and I'm like,
yeah.
oh girl, what are you doing?
I'm guilty.
You
I
gotta
do.
wipe that oil off. But yeah, I guess I do kind of wipe it, but I never like no, tell me about what you were telling me about earlier because I find it
So,
so fascinating.
I will link the article below for you guys. So I
Yeah.
recently, I don't know, maybe in the last 6, 7, 8 months or something, came across an Instagram page called Nail Knowledge. I believe that it is more located in the UK. I think that most of the information is coming more from like the UK, but it pertains to everybody all over the world. So they had done a blog or an article. Oh, I've just got to click out of here. I've just got my phone with it. And it basically says that I'll just read a quick little blurb from it. It says, no wipe top coats are amazing for rubbing in your pigment layers. I mean, who doesn't love a chrome finish? But there's something else that none of us have paid attention to. These no wipe top coats still have a sticky layer after curing. And this really does make sense. It says we must remove the sticky layer with 70% or 90% alcohol or your favorite product cleanser and avoid contact with skin. Then allow your client to go wash their hands with soap and water, rinsing well, and then follow with your cuticle oils and your lotions. If we don't cleanse the sticky layer after we have cured our no wipe top coat, then we just smear that along with oils all over our clients' nails, fingers, and hands. So we know
Wow.
from doing gel because this was something else we were talking about that's in here, and I have to kind of scroll through to find it, was about that inhibition layer and dispersion layer are different. And I may have read that wrong, but I'm going to try to find it in this article. So we've all known when you cure gel, there's always that sticky layer that you wipe off. But I mean, like Ginger was saying earlier, it's called a no wipe top coat because I thought we're not supposed to wipe it, right? So this was just, yeah, very interesting to me too. A little bit
I'm
more here.
definitely going to read that article after we're done with this because I find it fascinating. I love learning new stuff all the time about
Yeah.
anything to do with nails. And the science and chemistry and all that behind it. It's really fascinating.
Right.
We've always interchanged those words as sticky layer, inhibition layer, dispersion layer. They're all interchangeable as the same thing.
Right.
But it's saying that it's something different.
Yeah, I believe it's saying it's something different. So it says here, coming in contact with a sticky layer can cause allergies. This is all very well known. I think what isn't appreciated is that to make it a no-wipe top coat, many use acrylates because they cure faster and harder than methacrylates. But acrylates are more likely to cause allergies than methacrylates. I think that is the biggest issue. And if they, the nail techs, don't wear gloves, the solvents can combine with the uncured ingredients and carry them to the skin. Also, it's not a dispersion layer. This is an oxygen inhibition layer. Oxygen has inhibited the cure at the surface and left lots of uncured ingredients behind. Washing alone is not enough, and ideally you would want to wipe off the layer with your alcohol or preferred cleanser, wash and then dry the hands, and then apply your oil. So yeah, what it's saying is, in my opinion, it's not a dispersion layer. This is an oxygen inhibition layer, so which means they're different. Again, it says oxygen has inhibited the cure at the surface and left lots of uncured ingredients behind. So
interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't really go over what a dispersion layer is. It tells you what the inhibition layer is, but I would be curious what the definition of dispersion layer is then, because to me they sound the same. It leaves an uncured sticky layer. But yeah,
maybe if nail techs made it up, who knows?
Yeah, right? Just like the whole cuticle thing, girl, I still get so frustrated like when people call the cuticle, pushing the cuticles back, and it's not the
gosh. And I say it too to my clients because that's what they understand. It's
I know. Even in videos, I'll say like the cuticle area or whatever. I still say it. It's such habit, right? But I mean, that's what it was called.
I said proximal nail file to one of my clients, and she looked at me like I had 3 heads. She was like, "What?" I was like, "Never mind."
Absolutely. So yeah, that was just really something interesting. Again, I would love to know in the comment section if any of you guys knew that, if you've been doing it. I've started doing it. So I do it before I apply my cuticle oil. I don't get my clients to wash their hands. I know that a lot of people do, but my washroom is downstairs, and some of my clients have a hard enough time already getting up the stairs. Like I had a lady last night, her arthritis is so bad, the poor gal. I feel like I need to get one of those chair lifts for some of my ladies just to help them go up and down. So for me,
once my client sits down in the chair, they're sitting in that chair until they get ready to leave. Like I don't make them get up and wash their hands either. Exactly. The way that I've got it set up, my services, I've got the dust controlled to where they don't need to get up and wash their hands. So
yeah, I seen somebody once, and I wish I would have saved it, and maybe I did. I don't know. I have so much stuff on my phone. They had 2 spray bottles. So one had soapy water and the other just had regular water, and they would just spray their client's hand with the soapy water, and they would kind of give it a good little zhuzh, and then they would spray it with the regular water to rinse and dry, and then they put their cuticle oil on. And I thought, well, that could be an option. I just feel like, I don't know, it's just another step that I've never done.
Might not be necessary, but
but my clients wash their hands when they come in, obviously for cleanliness issues like you and everybody else, but yeah, so basically once their service is done and I've applied the top coat, I wipe it, and then I apply cuticle oil, and then I'll take if I'm taking pictures especially, I'll take a dry wipe and I'll just kind of squeak them up a little bit and try to get a little bit more of that oil off. But that's what I've been doing, and I will say, I feel like they're a little bit shinier when they leave.
Once you've got like it all squeaked and shined up. And,
even more than if I would have just how you were saying, you put the cuticle oil on, then you wipe, without wiping that dispersion or inhibition layer. I feel like they're even shinier. So, I mean, there's got to be something about it. I just find it so crazy that all of these companies who have created a no wipe top coat, none of them have said that you should wipe it. Not that I know of. I've never, ever seen that.
I mean, it's on the bottle. Don't wipe.
Right.
No wipe.
Right? So even the people creating the product, like, I'm assuming they're scientists who made their products. You would think that the scientists would have said to them, you know, you need to wipe this, but
This would be a good question for Jim McConnell from Light Elegance. He
oh,
does that chemist corner. I don't know if you've watched that or not on their YouTube channel. Light Elegance has a YouTube channel, and he does this chemist corner, and he talks about ingredients and like what gel actually is and
okay.
the lamps and how they work. I love watching stuff like that. It's just
No,
like the science part of it.
never.
I think that would be a very good question for him, and I wonder what he thinks about
Yeah.
that, because he's the scientist behind like making their products, the Light Elegance products. So
Right. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I've never followed him. I'll have to check him out. So
Yeah, let's do it.
this is another interesting one, and this is something that I heard through the grapevine. So the question is, do you do other nail techs' nails? So I'll answer this one first. So the reason I put this on here is, I mean, most people I've spoken to have been like, yeah, why wouldn't I? So I recently had a situation where I had a client who moved away, and where she was moving to, there's an amazing nail tech. I said, you should go to her. So she tried to get into her, but the problem was she does not do work over other nail techs' work. And my client knew that she'd be kind of coming back and forth to Regina, and when she was here, she was going to always want to get her nails done by me, so she didn't want to have to then get them removed every time she goes. So she thought, okay, that doesn't work for me. So she went to another nail tech, and they started kind of chatting about that other, you know, very well-known nail tech who does amazing work. She's an amazing, this is no shade on her whatsoever. I will never use names or anything anyways, but, and the gal who was doing her nails, the nail tech said, yeah, I booked in to get my nails done by her. And I was so excited. I think she's a newer nail tech, this one that was doing my client's nails. She's like, I'm so excited. She's like an idol of mine, blah, blah, blah. And I guess, she booked in with her, and then I don't know how long it was after she booked, but the popular nail tech called her or messaged her and said, I'm sorry, I have found out that you're a nail tech, and so I don't do other nail techs' nails.
Wow.
Right? And when my client first told me, I was like, huh? Okay, what? What do you mean? Why? Like, why?
Okay, my first thought is she not wanting to like let her secrets out to another nail tech type of thing? And I think that's
girl.
so crappy.
This is it. So now the caveat to that is because this popular nail tech has nail courses. She has nail programs. So she said to the girl something along the lines, of course, I'm hearing it through the grapevine, something along the lines of, if you want to learn from me, you can take one of my courses. So apparently this, you know, newer nail tech said, oh, like, that's not why I booked with you. Like, I just want to get my nails done by you because you're amazing and I look up to you. And some joke was made like, I can even wear blindfold and headphones and not listen or watch, you know.
Do my nails, please.
Right. And, you know, she said no. She said she just does not. And so that was just really interesting to me because so for me, I don't have nail courses. So when she first said that to me, I was kind of like, girl, get over yourself, right? Like, just kind of like, you don't do other nail techs nails? What?
Yeah.
Right? Kind of like how you responded, like, you don't want to.
Right. That's your first thought is like, okay.
Right. But then finding out it's because she has a nail course, I kind of can understand a little bit more. Like, I think that if I had a nail program as well, I don't know how I would handle that. Like, it kind of made me think, how do you handle that? Because it wasn't like the client was asked, or the nail tech, was asked when she booked, are you a nail tech? Right.
Right.
It was just, she booked and was excited and then got a phone call saying, I've searched you, I guess, or found out somehow that you are a nail tech and I don't do nail techs nails. So it was interesting to me because I thought, well, how the heck would you handle that? Like, you would have to have like some kind of maybe a disclaimer on your booking, or that would be something when they book on the phone that, if you're a nail tech, I'm sorry, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's wrong. My first, of course, reaction was like, what? But after having all the information, of course, it's like, okay, I get that.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I've got mixed feelings about the whole situation. Yeah. It's like, what if somebody comes to her and they decide they want to be a nail tech, like 2 weeks after getting their nails done, they go to school, they got all your secrets anyways.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I know.
I'm the same. I'm very mixed feelings on it. Totally respect her decision and respect how she runs, her salon and does nails, and, like, all the power to her for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
I think as a nail tech, and as people like us who like to do YouTube, we love helping people out. We love to give away as much information as we can. We do it for free for the love of just helping somebody, honestly. That's why I started my channel, is because I fell in love with nails. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just discovered this trick to do this popular design or technique that everybody's doing right now. And I just found this trick to make it so much better. I want to tell the world. I want to share it. I want everybody to know that, hey, you do it like this, it's better, it works better, it's easier, whatever.
Right.
Oh.
I agree. I'm the same. I always make the joke, I'm a great nail tech, but I'm not the greatest business person, because even my boyfriend, when I was talking to him about my YouTube channel and, telling him what I do on it and stuff, and he's like, but babe, aren't you worried? You're basically giving all your secrets away, and everybody's going to learn what you're doing, and then they're going to take your clients, and I mean, for one, I said, well, most of the people who are watching me aren't from Saskatchewan. I have people all over the world, so they're not taking my clients. But am I worried that someone's going to, I don't know, do the trend that I am doing? No, not necessarily.
Because they're not going to do it exactly the way you do it anyways, because everybody I did an art design 100% copied from yours.
Yeah.
The St. Patrick's Day nails. I looked at it. I said, these are beautiful. Me and my client fell in love with them. We put our own little spin on it, but your picture was up there on my phone the whole time I was doing her nails. And mine turned out totally different than yours.
Right.
And I personally, somebody asked me, hey, this design looks just like yours. I saw it on Instagram. And I was like, oh yeah, well, they might have saw my picture and took inspiration from it and did it. They're like, no, they copied you. And I don't feel that somebody has just copied me or ripped me off, or I don't even care if they give me credit or not. That doesn't bother me, because everybody's going to do it their own way, So I don't know. It just doesn't bother me like it does some people.
I would say that I definitely, does it bother me? I have to ask, does it bother me if I see a picture and I'm like, that's exactly my design? I don't know if it bothers me.
Give me credit.
I definitely appreciate when they do give me a shout out, and I will comment. I'm maybe that's a little shady of me. I will comment if I see a picture that's exactly. I will say oh, great work, great job or whatever, because it is a great job. I mean, but maybe there's a slight bit of shade in there. I'm not gonna lie.
Just a little bit shady.
Just letting you know, girl. I see you. I see
you happy, babe. Yeah. So, but for me, I feel like we need to help other nail techs out more than be like, well, look, I know these techniques, and if you want to know them too, I'm going to charge you. I would do anybody's nails, nail tech or not, it doesn't bother me. And I will sit there the whole time and show them what I'm doing and explain to them why I'm doing it that way. I want everybody to learn. I want everybody to be able to do it. Yeah. And I just don't, not to sound cocky, because I'm definitely not at all, but I don't feel like anybody else is competition for me besides myself. I'm always competing against myself to get better. There are so many people in my tiny, and I mean tiny town that I live in that want to get their nails done. There are probably 6 nail techs within a 20-mile radius of where I do nails that people could go get their nails done. And there are still people messaging me daily that want to get in and get their nails done. So I'm like, I would like to be able to refer them to somebody who I'm like, oh, well, this girl does it a lot like I do it. Why don't you go to her and, see if you like her nails? So I just, I don't know. I'm more for helping than charging, I guess.
And again,
maybe it's not good business sense, but
no, and I think it's also situational, right? Every opinion that we have in life is situational, right? It's based on your experience, your life situation. So for you, you don't really feel like there's much competition out there, so you have no problem sharing. Now, I used to teach nail art one-on-one classes here. And it wasn't like something I thought of. I just had so many people constantly messaging me like, hey, can you teach me how to do nails or whatever? And I did have girls who would come in and get their nails done, and they would ask me a bunch of questions while I was doing their nails. And I did think to myself, they're basically getting taught nail art for free. So I set up an option. If you want to learn nail art, it's very customizable. I think, gosh, this was years ago. I don't do it anymore because there's so many nail art courses online that they're not calling me for that anymore. But I used to basically just tell them, go on my website, pick 5 nail designs that you like, and I'll teach you those, whatever you want, right? And I think I charged $60 for an hour and a half. And I even provided them with the paintbrushes everything. It was so cheap, but it was an option. And now I will say, I think I would have a little bit harder time. I still show people, and I do obviously YouTube, and it's free, and I teach people stuff all the time, but the competition here is hardcore. I think I recently spoke to you about how I have just had a revolving door for years. I had a wait list. I could not keep up. It was like 80 people. And then there's like 500 nail techs just in my city alone. And they're all like, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of them are very good. So the competition is like, I'm constantly having a revolving door. I just got 3 new ones, but I just lost 2. One moved away and one can't afford it anymore. So it's just constant. So yeah, for me, I don't feel like I still share a lot. I mean, I just love educating people. That's just kind of, I'm same like you, but yeah, I think I would have a little harder time just having constantly nail techs coming in to basically learn.
Yeah. And I think you're gonna see that too. You're gonna see that you're being taken advantage of when they come in and sit in your chair and like, oh yeah, girl, here, do my nails. Yes, I'm a nail tech. Oh, what are you doing right there? Show me,
Right.
tell me, you're going to know you're being taken advantage of. So like you said, it's definitely situational. So,
yeah. Okay. So last question. And this is kind of going off of what we were just saying as well. Do you allow clients to bring in ideas, or do you only do your own designs? I don't remember. I think it's your turn to answer first.
Definitely both. So, I don't say you can't show me inspiration. Like, I want them to have some kind of idea of what they want. And a lot of my girls, they get on Pinterest for inspiration, and I'm on Instagram for inspiration. So I love looking at other techs like nail art, and like I'll screenshot stuff like crazy and say, I love this color combination, and then put my own spin on it. Usually they'll bring me, like, it's about 50-50. I have some clients who will sit down and say, do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, well, at least pick a color. And we'll figure something out. And then I've got clients to show me a picture and say, I want it as close to this picture as you can possibly get it. It never turns out exactly like the picture. It's always like, okay, well, cool colors. I like the idea. Let me put my own little tiny spin on it, because maybe I don't have that one certain product that the picture had on it.
Right.
So definitely kind of both.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I always say I have such a good mixture of clients. I have clients who come in and say, do whatever you want. I got no ideas. I don't even want to think about my nails. I just come here for you to do it. I have clients who, same thing, come in with a picture and they'll say, I like the ring finger, but I don't care what you do on the rest. Or I want pink, but I don't care what you do. The reason that I had this question is because I had somebody call me, actually it was last year, and wanted to get their nails done, and they asked me, do you allow your clients to bring in photos? And it was a weird question at the time for me. I was like,
yeah, why not?
Because I'm thinking they're your nails. Like, yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I'm just asking because I have gone to 3 nail techs now in my city alone who don't do anything but their own designs. I'm not allowed to bring in a picture. They tell me they won't copy other people. They won't, nothing. Yes. And so it was like, really? And like, my first thought was, I can't imagine having someone come in and pay me to do something on their body, and I don't let them choose what it looks like.
They don't really get a say in it as much. Yeah.
Right. Like, that was odd to me. But I've seen in the recent years, there are a lot of nail techs that don't do that. I recently seen one. He charges I think he just did, like he showed like a bill on Instagram of what he got paid that day. He did 3 clients. Each client was 3 hours, and one paid 300, the next paid 300, and the last paid 350. And on his Instagram, it specifically says, "You do what I want. You don't get a choice in nothing. Length, shape, style, design." And I mean, his nails, I'm talking, are phenomenal. Like,
Well, if you're
every
paying that
design,
price, I would imagine
every
they would.
design is different. It's unique. This guy's mind is like so creative. So I get it. He's basically using them as a canvas, a walking canvas, and he's
Right.
busy. And clearly he making bank because
Well, I mean, there's clients out there who are totally fine with that type of thing.
yes,
So
absolutely.
it's like, yeah, okay, I'll be there.
Absolutely. Right. So you find that clientele, and I think he lives in like California or something. So I mean, they can afford it and they want to do
Yeah.
it, right? So,
Yeah.
but here, like again, situational.
Right.
I do have clients, yes, who will let me do whatever I want. They come in, I'll say, "Do you have anything in mind?" And they say, "Well, kinda, but what do you have in mind?" I'm like, "Can you just let me wing it?" They're like, "All right," and
Same client,
yeah.
same thing.
And it's
Mhm.
very rare that they're unhappy. They're always, happy. So it
Yep.
worked out. But yeah,
Yep.
for me, I just don't think, and personally, I feel like that's too much pressure because there are times when a client comes in and says, "I have no ideas. Can you just think of something?" And I'm like,
And you have no ideas either, and you're like,
deer in the headlights, like, what? No.
sometimes that happens and my best work comes out, and sometimes that happens and they leave and I go, God, I hope they love their nails because these are not my favorite thing I've ever done.
I feel the same way. Yes, I feel the same way. But I will say, having my 7-tiered rack, I've talked about that thing, that display rack that I have on my desk, that helps when that happens.
So I have done that. I have implemented that. It is working fantastic. I don't have it quite the way I want it yet,
Yeah.
but every time I get the new Madam Glam collection in, it goes there front and center, because when my clients come in, they know that I get the new collections. They go, "What new colors do you have?"
Yeah.
They want to see the new colors first and foremost, and then they decide what they want. But that being right there for them, and then I put out the seasonal stamping plates for them to look through, it's working fantastic.
Yeah,
that is the best idea.
I love it. I've had so many people send me DMs or tag me in their pictures of their little display rack, or some people just even have they're just starting out and they just got a bucket or a little container with their stuff. We're all starting somewhere, and it makes my heart go pitter patter. I'm like, oh, people have learned something from me. I love it. So that has helped me many times when a client comes in and says they don't know what they want. I'm just like, well, let's look in here and see what's in here, and we'll throw some stuff together for you.
I feel like there's people, the nail techs who say, you can't show me any inspo pics. I feel like those people are first and foremost artists, and they really want to put their own art out there for people. And for us, it's like, well, we just want our clients to be happy. So if it's an inspo pic that you want us to copy to the T, you got it. Whatever you want, it's for you. And I guess, again, the whole topic of the day is it's all situational. It just depends on the tech, the situation.
Absolutely. And where you live, I think makes a difference too, and what they're going to
really does.
All that stuff. I give them total props because if you have that creative of a mind, that literally every day that you're working, whether it's 3 days a week, 6 days, whatever, 7, 5, whatever, however many clients, you can just create something spectacular that is unique for every client. One gentleman that his
100%.
page, there's not one thing that looks the same. I'm like, man, bravo, sir, bravo, because
your brain is just exploding with ideas. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I get writer's block, creative block so often.
I do too.
You're doing we do several clients a day. We work 6 days a week. You get a little burnout, and you're like, I don't know what to do next.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Well, that is it for all the questions. I'm so glad that you came on today. We have to do this again. We have to think of more.
Thank you for asking me to do this with you. I had a blast, and I love being able to be in totally different parts of the world and sharing each other's situations. Some things are the same, some things are completely different. And I think that's great for other nail techs all over the world to get to see. So
yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, girl. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna sign off here. I am actually going to do some more filming because I got some more filming to do for some stuff.
And I'm going to work.
And Ginger's going to work because her client will be there soon. So thank you for hanging out with us. And let us know in the comment section if you like this video, if you want us to do more of these videos. It will be on both of our pages. And yeah, have a good day, everyone.